Hey, Mario. I got your dreaded two-part question for you. First of all, I know how much you love updating injuries, so if you could just update how Tyler's doing, and then also if you could talk about specifically the challenge of FSU's defense. I know you talked about Jordan Travis. You talk about their defense a little bit in that challenge. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Okay, so Tyler is practicing and getting better every single day, so we'll have a decision closer to the game. Certainly optimistic, and FSU, they've done a great job defensively. I think they're a top 15, top 12 defense in just about every statistic and category. They do it a number of different ways. They play really sound defense. They're very technical. They're explosive and fast on the edges. They're thick, powerful guys inside that have great pass rush ability. Their linebackers run really well. They're strikers. The secondary is long, physical, can run. They do a great job communicating back there, and they play great defense all year long.
Go to Adam Lichtenstein of the Sun Sentinel. Adam.
Hey, Mario. I know you kind of talked about him a bit on Monday, but you used to talk a little bit more about like the explosiveness that Jakari Brown brings to the team and how he's developed as a player and like how he's been handling the role of primarily being like a wildcat quarterback so far.
Well, it's a way to introduce him to getting on the field, which is there was a very, I guess for those first couple of appearances, it was a limited package, but for the last game, it was expanded more, and certainly it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. Now he's running just about all the offense, plus some other stuff, obviously, that he does really, really well. Just a really smart guy, a great learner. He works at it, take tons of pride in it. He practices really, really hard. He's a hard working guy. It means a lot to him. So there's no flinch in him, so he's a little bit beyond his years. Doesn't strike you as a guy that's nervous, when he's back there behind the center in a big game.
And just kind of like a follow up on that, like he was a starter in high school for 3.5 years. He comes here and, he hasn't had a chance to throw the ball too much. How has he kind of handled that? I mean, I'm sure he wants to be a competitor and, play as much as he can and stuff. How does he kind of handle being in that role that he's in?
Well, he has been a competitor. He's competing every single day in practice. So I can't say enough good things about the way he's done everything since he's been here.
We'll go to Christopher Stock from InsideTheU. Chris.
Yeah, Coach, just what has Will Mallory given you guys this season? And then also, what is the value of having a tight end in the offense that can catch passes?
Will is one of the best leaders on our football team. He embodies everything you want in a player for the University of Miami. As a guy that competes, has a great teammate, hard worker, a performer, just does it all. And then off the field, he represents just as strongly. So, he presents, he can run, and he's got unbelievable hands, great route runner, and he's a really good blocker. So he combines all the things that you want in an inline tight end, a detached tight end, a sniffer position tight end. He understands protections really well. He's a good pass protector. So when he's in the game, we're a lot better football team, and he's brought so much to the table this year. He's got a really bright future, a long future in football.
And I just wanted to ask real quick, your right guard position, you've rotated different guys in for different reasons. Can you just explain what that process has been like the last few weeks?
That process is last few weeks the same as it's always been. Find a way to make competition real and play the best players. So it's no different for the right guard position.
Go to Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Manny.
Hey, Mario. Two questions. One's recruiting. The other one's just a follow-up on Tyler. Obviously, when it was an arm injury of some sort to his throwing arm, and I'm curious, is he able to throw the ball exactly like he was before he got hurt? And is there like a pain tolerance maybe he has to deal with? And then the second part with recruiting is, you guys obviously beefed up the group that looks at the transfer portal, et cetera. I'm curious how that process is going with Alonzo and evaluating what might be available eventually on the transfer portal.
That's a really long question there, man. The first part talking about throwing everything that we've seen, it looks absolutely normal and strong, so we feel good about it. And then in terms of recruiting, I think Alonzo is invaluable because he's been coming by Miami for a long, long time, and he's testament to the drastic changes that need to be made in terms of talent acquisition, evaluation. Also has a great feel for, I would say, knows our culture, right? Played in it and also was witness to it, along the way in the NFL where he's been. So talent evaluation at all levels is critically important. The beefed up staff helps us get more eyes on people, but we're also very diligent in terms of our position coaches, our coordinators, to make sure that we get multiple sets of eyes in mind as well. So we keep evaluating guys and then take it from there to character evaluations, the intangibles that go with being a great football player. Kind of lost track of which way this question was supposed to end with an answer, but if you mean his value or his role, is tremendous role. Him and all those guys, they just Dennis Smith. I mean, these guys are relentlessly evaluating not only our roster and our needs, but also what else is out there in college football, in high school, at the junior college level, and now even overseas. It just doesn't stop. There's a lot of different ways to fill your roster now, and we're always looking for ways to, what it looks like going forward.
You answered it, Coach. Thank you.
We've got time for a few more for Coach Cristobal. Again, please get your hands up if you have a question. We'll go to David Wilson from the Miami Herald. David?
Hey, Mario. I want to ask you another recruiting one. Obviously, you guys had some good news last week that I know you can't really talk about, but obviously Florida State game, people always look at this as, I'm sure you're going to have a lot of recruits in the building, rivalry game. How important are games like this for recruiting, or is it something that we and the fans maybe overblow a little bit? And it's more about what you sell on a consistent basis.
I think everybody has their own opinion, and I don't think anyone should judge anybody for their opinion on the value of how they value each and every game. I mean, we value every game. It's the most important thing in the world. Obviously with rivalry games, emotions and passion, everybody surrounding universities goes through the roof and beyond. So in terms of recruiting, I think there's a lot of value in a lot of different things. I think most importantly is the track record of a staff, where they've been, what they've done, how they've won, who they've developed, how they've graduated, how they've treated people, how they do way after the fact when football's said and done, what their relationships are with those players that played for them. And, our track record for our staff has always been excellent.
And I had one totally unrelated one. Clay James, a guy we don't ask you about a whole lot, finalist for the Werfel Award. Just like what, we don't get to talk to him a lot. We don't know him that well. Just what does it mean to have a guy like that up for that accolade? And just what is he like behind the scenes?
Well, you bring a great point, to the table. And so we'll make sure he's available next week to speak with media, because he deserves that platform. A guy does so much, he does so much for so many people, and he affects people in so many different ways. And he's extremely smart, super high football IQ guy, great teammate. And again, you don't hear the name much because, like those positions, it always comes with, you typically don't hear something until something goes wrong. So knock on wood, we don't want to hear that. But we certainly are appreciative of him, value him tremendously. Awesome member of this organization. And man, you couldn't ask for a better representative.
Got two more hands up. We got time for two more questions. We'll go to Luke and then Adam. Luke, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. So I was just wondering, what you've seen from Jordan Travis and what you're expecting from him this weekend.
Mm-hmm. One of the most explosive football players in college football. He just has complete command of the offense. And they do a lot of stuff. They use multiple formations and they change things from game to game. They attack defensive, schemes very effectively. There's always a wrinkle, but more than that, there's always just a really good plan, especially, to start the game. And what you see is a guy that he handles it all. And as a passer, as a quarterback, as a guy that understands his protections, as a guy that manages a run game, as a guy that extends plays, creates explosive plays in the run game, in the pass game, with his own feet, with the threat of his own feet, and opening things up for the running backs. And he's complemented by an excellent supporting cast.
All right, last question for Coach Cristobal comes from Adam Lichtenstein.
Again, just had a quick question just about Don Cheney and how his recovery process is coming, and what if there's a chance he comes back, during the last month of the season.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you asked. We watched him run yesterday out there on land, and he looked really good, and the whole team's incredibly happy for him. It's been a tough stretch for him, tough couple of years, and he looks good. When is that actual playing date? I can't say he would play this week or next, but man, he looks like he's getting really, really close. I'd like to. I guess I'd throw out there, conservatively speaking, within 3 weeks, he's got a chance to play towards the last couple of games of the season.